Instead of fearing the next surprise, let's schedule the solution. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Justin with the Thoughtful Beard, your home for insights, ideas, and a scally cap. In the last video, we said risk is anything that can stop you from hitting your goals. Today, we turn those risks into action. We're building your risk register, simple, usable, and owned by real people. Here's the promise. By the end of this video, you'll have a working list that will tell you what to fix first, who owns it, and when it gets done. Let's get into it. If you remember from our last video, we define a risk register as the single document that becomes the authoritative system of record for documenting, comparing, prioritizing, acting on, and reassessing all of your risks. It's one place for you to capture 5 things: what can go wrong, why it matters, how big it is, who owns it, and what's next. It isn't busy work. It's a to-do list with better priorities. So let's start building the framework for our risk register. First, we need to set up 7 columns. The 7 are a good start to allow you to act without drowning. Column 1 is your asset. This is your crown jewel. Column 2 is risk event. This is your ouch. Column 3 is why it hurts or your pain. Column 4 is your likelihood on a 1 to 5 scale. Column 5 is the impact on a 1 to 5 scale. Column 6 is the owner. And column 7 is the next action and due date. That's it. We'll look at some recommended additional columns later in this video, but they're optional. This is all you need to start taking action today. Do you remember habit 2 from the last video? Write it simply without jargon. Come up with one sentence that communicates both what you're worried about and why it matters, making sure it encompasses the what, how, and why, or crown jewel, ouch scenario, and pain. It's time to put that into action. Write your sentence, break it into its 3 parts, and put them in the corresponding columns in the risk register. So, customer order data gets deleted by mistake, delaying shipments and causing refunds to angry buyers. Our asset, using that example, is the customer order data. Our risk event is it gets deleted by mistake. And our why it hurts is delaying shipments and causing refunds to angry buyers. It's a self-verifying test. If you can't turn your one sentence into 3 effective parts for the register, regroup and take another stab at your original sentence. Now that you have your crown jewel, ouch, and pain effectively written down, rate your likelihood and your impact. Remember, keep it simple and use a 1 to 5 scale. For likelihood, 1 is rare or unlikely, while 5 is common or highly likely. For impact, 1 is annoying, while 5 is goal killing. Don't chase decimals. Gut feel is fine for a first pass. You can always come back and tighten it up later. So here's your first opportunity to improve your risk register. If you want, you can insert a column after impact and before owner and call it risk score. Set the value to be auto-calculated to likelihood times impact. If you're feeling really innovative and you know your way around spreadsheets well, you can add another column and have it evaluate the value in the risk score and categorize the risk and dynamically color code it. A risk score of 1 to 4 is low, 5 to 9 is moderate, 10 to 15 is high, and 16 or greater is extreme. Unnecessary, but helpful for those who are more visually driven. This is probably a good time to point out that a link to a Google Sheet template will be in the description below that has this whole template built out with all the advanced formulas and formatting for you to use as a starting point if you'd like. But now it's time to have fun. Sort the sheet by score, circle the top 3, and that's this month's plan. Now, let's ask one more question for each of these 3. What is the smallest step that materially lowers either the likelihood of it happening or the impact when it does? Small steps, real movement. Remember, the goal of risk management is managing risk, not eliminating risk. If you can eliminate risk, great. But the real value is finding small, manageable, cost-effective ways to reduce risk likelihood and impact to an acceptable level so you can quickly move to the next sleep-robbing risk. Here's a pro tip. Write the action as a one-line definition of done. While a good first step for the risk payment gateway outage might be to find a secondary payment processor, your action would be secondary payment route tested and documented by next Friday. Make sure to include the by when. So now we come to the last area of managing our risk register, ownership. Remember, in our last video, we said that assigning an owner was critical because it needs to be clear who is going to be held accountable for doing everything in his or her power to ensure that the threat to goal or goals does not become reality. It doesn't need to be an executive. Pick the person with the power, skills, know-how, or influence to push it forward. If nobody owns it, it won't move. Executives, you must be on board. Owners will need time and budget to win. Another opportunity to improve our risk register at this juncture is to add a new column just before the next action and due date column and call it treatment. Every risk gets one of 4 treatments. Avoid, where we change the plan so the risk disappears. Reduce, which lowers the likelihood or impact with controls. Transfer, shift the cost to insurance or a third-party vendor. Or accept, live with it intentionally inside your comfort zone. Write or select one of the 4 values next to the action. If you choose accept, say why and when you'll revisit. That's grown-up risk management. As a little aside, if you're a visual person, a good gut check is to create a 5x5 grid and split it right down the middle, both horizontally and vertically. Number the grid 1 through 5 and label the x-axis as likelihood and the y-axis as impact. Plot each of your risks on this grid. The top right quadrant is your focus area, as it's the highest impact and likelihood items. If the dots don't match your gut, revisit your scores. A visual will help to keep the debates among the team short. Lastly, it's time to act. On a separate tab, we're going to make a list with 2 sections, Act Now and Next. Under Act Now, you're going to list your top 3 risks, their actions, owners, and due dates. Under Next, you're going to list the next 3 risks that the team will tackle once a slot frees up. Capacity beats wishful thinking. 3 active items is plenty for most teams. And now, set the rhythm. Put a 15-minute monthly review on the calendar. During the meeting, first, add any new risks you've spotted. Second, update the actions and due dates. And third, rescore anything that's changed in your top right quadrant. Schedule a longer quarterly session to retire solved items, review accepted risks, and refresh priorities. This isn't a yearly tune-up, it's an oil change every 5,000 miles. This rhythm turns your spreadsheet into a culture. Now, here are a few common pitfalls to avoid. Waiting for perfect data. You can start today with what you know. Writing in jargon or buzzwords. Keep your sentences human and relevant to your business. Too much risk information. There are plenty more columns that you could add, but what we've covered today is more than enough to improve your business. No owners or dates. Without them, this is just a wish list. And 5, one and done. You need to schedule the reviews and be consistent. This can't be a one-time event. So let's summarize with an example from our risk register. Watch the pattern. Payment gateway experiences outage during a promotion, resulting in lost sales and angry customers. Likelihood 3, impact 4. Now that gives us a risk score of a 12, which is classified as high. The owner is the e-commerce lead. Next action and date is enable a secondary processor and test failover by next Friday. Treatment, reduce. Done. That's your risk register. Simple, readable, actionable. So take a simple first step. Download the risk register template below. Fill it out for your first 5 risks. Sort them. Pick the top 3. Put a 15-minute review on the calendar and get to work. You'll be sleeping better in no time. If this series helped you, please like and subscribe and share this with anyone who is struggling with risks that are keeping them from achieving their goals, personally or professionally. Until then, feel free to check out this other series that you might find useful. I'm Justin with The Thoughtful Beard, your home for insights, ideas, and a scally cap. And I'll see you in the next video.